thankfully.
I mean, the other guy can hear me.
So, but it says you're live. You're live in honey. This is Subpellucid. You're gonna get honey traps.
Baby shark, baby
There's Dan. Paid to sleep. Don't they do like sleep studies or something? I'm sure you could like volunteer and get paid for be like a lab rat.
Oh, the plenty of consultants that can help you with money. They're all in the Clubhouse.
Poor Gail. She's excited about this show.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, I've actually got a serious thing to tell you guys. I actually went to the doctor the other day and he told me I was going deaf.
No, the sad part is that he has them written down. I guess we should have told you that randomly your camera will fill up. But that ruins the fun. Oh, that is sexy right there. Very true.
I never understand why they keep showing up again. How bad the show gets.
This show is a work of art. It's award winning.
It's an art house classic. It's a cult classic.
What other show has a belching shark? Daniel. Whatever.
Hey. So I, right now, am Houdini. Literally. So I am in two places at once, right this second. So why did you do that?
There you go. Gives you just kind of an idea of what this show is going to be like.
No. Oh man, this show. No, if I would have known what the show was going to be like when we first talked about the show.
You talking about in general or this episode?
This episode is going to break some new records. I have to say, this is, this show is has got something else to it. It's got some je ne sais quoi. I think
So this is a family show. You need to watch your words.
Good moments here. Family friendly, yes. It's been family friendly always, except for one time. Yes, and we did get a sponsor actually. We have a couple of sponsors here.
Wow. And you didn't tell me.
Yeah. The Story Catcher for one. Was our first official sponsor.
Who approved that?
We got StreamYard, of course, which is if the head of marketing at StreamYard would know what's going on here, I'm not sure he would approve of this show. But yeah, we got some people, and we got some movement, and we got a great guest today.
Yeah, we do. And basically, as far as sponsors, we just randomly put logos up of different companies until we get a cease and desist letter. But that's why right now we're having to go overseas for guests, because we can't get anybody from our own country apparently. That's why we have this guy. I don't even like, where'd this guy come from? Is that a Twinkie? You think? Oh, wow! We talk about an upgrade. Oh wow! We just need to just move on.
And that abrasive British etiquette.
Yes, that's
at you.
We're going to experience that today for sure.
Pose in your profile picture accordingly. A smile, a pattern interrupt, a quizzical eyebrow raise, a clown hat. I don't have a clown hat, but if I did, I would wear one in this video just for you because it would be funny. But I don't, so sorry.
Ow.
Okay.
Looks like you still don't have the clown hat.
That's going to set the bar, isn't it?
We start as low as we possibly can.
Yeah, I'm sure you can dig up more. I've done some terrible photos and videos and moonwalks, and yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Chad.
Yeah.
Did you lower my volume on purpose?
No, why?
I'm getting incoming here from the audience saying my volume is way too low.
Wow. I don't know. I've got all kinds of gain on your audio, so let's turn you up some more.
I'm gonna do the same on my end. So how about now? And I can just yell. I can yell like a madman.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? It was a terrible internet day today, and nobody could hear me or see me before. Now at least they can see me. I don't know if that's any comfort. So, can't hear Dan very well either. Chad again. Once again, Chad cranks up his own volume.
I think we've just turned both of you up, so hopefully we got that fixed.
We just haven't let Dan even speak yet. Dan, how are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. I'm all good. I'm happy days. I'm reading my dad jokes. I'm just getting ready for my repertoire.
So most guests come on and they just sit and read while Daniel and I talk.
I figured I might as well get comfy because, let's face it, it's you two.
Okay,
so, there you go.
Sounds like we're good to go.
See, I got you.
We can go on with the show, like as if we know what we're doing here.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's before we get to know you too much, let us make our little transition into the scene that we actually call getting to know you. Blah 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 blah. It's a thing we do. Whatever.
We're gonna love you for this.
Yes.
Happy witness. I don't tan, by the way.
Apparently not.
No. I love how you match your skin tone to our background
Getting
color.
to know you.
I
Getting
can
to
flash it
know
right now, by the way.
all about you.
Leo says we can start the show now.
La, da, 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 da.
Woohoo!
That's awesome.
Here we go. Danny boy, now, so first things first.
Yep.
Your real name is Daniel, right?
Correct.
That's
Yes.
correct. So
The
when
only
did
people who call
you?
me Daniel is my wife, my mum.
Oh, your wife calls you Daniel.
Yes.
Is that because she's trying to put her foot down and show you, okay, Daniel, do as I say, or is it like, oh, Daniel, you're so cute?
No, I think she just calls everyone by their full name, like literally everyone. Like if someone's name is, everyone calls someone Liz, she will be the only person calling him Elizabeth because she's all like prim and proper, and she's just weird like that.
Which is
Gotcha.
really,
Is that a
touch of
British thing?
OCD, perhaps?
Something wrong with her, surely. It's like,
It's a thing. Is she watching?
no, she is in bed asleep.
Yeah.
Oh,
What time is
because
it there?
It's at 11:10.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Evening.
Is that why
Wow.
you're talking so quietly? Because your family's asleep.
I am mildly fearful that my daughter's going to come downstairs and demand like breakfast or something. She has that because she's 3 and she has like no body clock at all. But we'll see how that goes.
Excellent. So what are you doing now these days? You know, you posted recently, you know, that you stopped, or have you stopped your deal with Quick that you were doing?
Yeah. So my last day actually with Quick was the 18th of Jan.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very much me doing my own thing, my own business now. After, I mean, I think everyone's had loads of changes through COVID. So last year we had a lot of changes. You know, we're certainly me and my family. Things are definitely not like they used to be, and in many ways for the better. So I kind of talked to my wife about it, and I was like, "Do we really want to be working for other people and not, focus on our own thing?" And we were like, "No." So yeah, we're moving out of London, upgrading the house, but downsizing the mortgage. We're kids changing schools, me doing my own business. My wife's doing a bit of change with her work as well. So yeah, it's interesting. Well, not really a big change, just shifting teams.
Wait, you're moving out of London? So
Yes.
so you're now in a suburb of London, right? It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was weird because, well, not really weird. It was actually just more like annoying because we bought our house in West London. So, I mean, I don't mind telling you, it's West London. So, like, the average house price is ridiculous. So, we've got probably place here we're in probably about $500,000, something like that. So, we've got like an eye-watering mortgage. It's just horrible. And about 9 months after we bought this house, I started working from home full time. About 6 months after that, my wife started working from home 3 days a week, which then turned into 4 days a week. Now with COVID, it's all week. So we're basically living in a small 3-bedroom terrace in West London, when for half that price, we can get a 5-bedroom double garage with a garden and basically like half a farm.
And what?
Up
I'm
further.
sorry, I hate to interrupt. What is a garage?
A garage. Oh, sorry. Garage.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I think when what's it?
a
place where
garage.
I
It's where you put
park
a carriage in.
One of those horseless
Yeah, so-
carriages.
garage.
Garage.
Yes, I'll teach you guys how to say words in English as we go because
Thank you.
you guys just obliterate the English language, and let's face it, we created it. So I will educate you as we go.
You didn't create it. You took German and butchered it.
Oh, we need like a debate scene. Ding, ding,
You can't blame
ding.
me entirely.
Yeah. No. Was any language actually created? That is an interesting question. We will never know. But wait. So Leo is asking, where are you based? So you said you bought an apartment in West London, or you're currently living in West London?
Yeah, house. So we are probably about 10 minutes or so west of an area called Shepherd's Bush. So for people in London who know where that is, I would say West London because if I say where I actually live, people are like, "Where's that?" So I just say West London. It's easier.
I get that. I tell people I'm east of Houston.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So now,
Where's
Daniel, didn't you do a little research into where he lived though? I thought.
Yeah, and there was some town. So you're listed under some town name that I couldn't figure out how to pronounce the name of it
Facebook's
at all.
weird. Facebook thinks I live in Slough, which I'm like, no.
Slough?
SLOUGH. That's one of them that I get listed under.
That's one of them.
What was the town
Yeah,
you found, Daniel?
I have to look up where it was, but it was like some really strange name, and I was like, how does one even pronounce that? So it was a bit north of London. Is that so? Did you move to London recently, or are you born and raised within London and like lived there your entire life?
No, I was born and raised in a place called Buckinghamshire, actually, which is a county west of London.
Sounds
In
fancy.
a little village. Well, where I lived, it was really weird because the side of the road where our house was considered a little village called Weston Turble. About 4 doors down was Wendover. About 4 doors up was Stoke Mandeville, and the other side of the road was also Stoke Mandeville. So I literally lived on like the cusp of 4 different places. But technically, Weston Turble was the village my postcode was under.
And what's Ruislip?
Ruislip.
Ruislip.
Ruislip is western part of London. It's the suburbs of West London.
Okay, so that's where you are right now.
Near there, yeah.
Okay. So that's so it's got, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it West London. You can call it Shepherd's Bush. You can call it Ruislip.
It's Hillingdon. It's inside the M25. I mean, if you live in London, you would call it Greater London. But if you're not in London, you're like, is it London? Is it not London? Is it
So-
Hillingdon? Is that
Yeah.
So is that familiar then?
that is Jurassic Park. That's the soft play place where I take my children, when I could take my children there, to go and jump around at soft play cafes.
Okay, so that's near where you are then, right? This area.
Yeah, there, yeah.
And we were pretty sure about it ourselves as well, because we were messing around with Google Maps, but then Daniel thought, what if we went inside Jurassic Park? And so we went inside and we thought, is that possibly you there? Who is the bald guy standing there waiting for service?
I don't own a pair of red trainers, so no.
Okay.
Sorry,
Well,
sneakers to Americans. We call them trainers in the rest of the world.
Okay, well, that's good, because if
Actually,
you had
he's
said it
wearing
was
socks.
you, we were going to stop right there, because when we went a little further, then we saw this bald guy, and well, we were trying to figure out who he was with there, and we didn't want to cause any problems.
No. My wife's mixed race as well, so she's far too pale to the lady there to be my wife.
Well, yeah, we figured, and so that's why we were going to stop the video there. We didn't want to get you in trouble.
I could always ask the owner. He may have mine, so I could ask him if you want. We can track that lady down if you're interested.
Daniel?
So like, that was like pointing. So that's interesting, because the reason why we came across that property was because that's listed as your place of business. And so like, oh, interesting. That's it's funky when we look people up and we find these things and we immediately know.
I know why that is. I was trying to get verified on Google My Business a couple of years ago, and I didn't actually. I don't have a place of business or a post box. So I actually did use that address. You reminded me. I did use his address, because he was like, "Just use my address. It's fine." And I never changed it back. I should probably change that back.
The old fake address trick on the Google Maps to get listed.
That's hilarious.
So wait, but then they send a letter out to the physical address to verify you. So you ask them permission and said, if you get a letter from Google Places.
Don't tell Google.
Wow.
Probably should have did that on live TV or live stream.
That's crazy. Well, it looks like you and Leo Mindell are near each other.
Ooh.
Yeah, Leo knows the spot. He's been there.
Yeah, he says he lives in the northern woods of Ruislip or whatever.
Aha, yeah, and he's saying the mailboxes, etc., must be the trick.
Oh, too expensive.
Too expensive. Yeah, they're still in business. Amazing.
Literally,
Yeah,
I
amazing.
needed it for one postcard. Just like, that's what I wanted. I'm not going to spend like 80 quid to get one postcard delivered for the year. It's like, no.
Hilarious.
Google.
Well, listen, we're bringing back a little segment that we've done in the past. We took a little break from it, but we felt like it would be fun to do with you. We call it Chilling with the Guru. And it's just yeah, because, you know, that's kind of how we thought about you. And we're like, nothing screams guru like you. So
I actually ran a lease line business once, a number of years ago, called Lease Line Guru, which is probably where you're going with this.
No, but if we'd have known, we probably would have.
Hello. My name
Oh,
is
gosh.
Dan Holloway. I am the founder and I believe the creator of a concept called Operational Voodoo.
I should get my what do they call them? The little doll things that you just stab. I should make some of those. Depending on how
Yeah.
it goes.
So we decided we'd change it up. Instead of chilling with the guru, we'd go with chilling with the voodoo.
I feel like I need to like crouch in there. I'm getting a bit
You can fit in there. There you go.
Wow,
In
and
a
solve the
proximity
glare
effect.
problem. That's awesome. So now,
I should hold myself on right here.
I feel like we're back in Hogwarts. Okay, so you know it's interesting. I haven't met many people who have had changed business names as many times as you have. Operational Voodoo was just one iteration of the business names you've gone through, and we wanted to ask you, like, who do you voodoo? Like, what's like, where did that? The what?
Do you know it was something, and this has been a bit of a weird journey for mine, where for a while I was trying to figure out like what I did, because what I did, people kept, and this is we can talk about later, but people kept saying, you need to niche down, you need to do this, you need to focus, you need to like find your why, and I was like, okay, and I was like doing these like different exploration things, but I kind of, what I should have done was just listened to what I knew in the first place, which was that they were just wrong. But you're saying like this operational stuff you do. I mean, how do you grow a business, and how do you kind of like turn strategy into actual action, and how do you like go from growth into scale? I mean, that's just some kind of like magical craziness. And then someone came up, was like, that's just like some voodoo type stuff, and I was like, operational voodoo. It came to me literally in the shower. So I actually thought of that name whilst naked.
Oh, nice.
Thank you for sharing that with us. That's
Anytime.
You
Apparently,
asked.
there's actually a mindset person tells me that there's a reason why the best ideas actually enter your brain whilst in the shower, in the bath, or while swimming or whatever it is, because the resonant frequency of the water going over your body resonates with the water that's actually in your body, given we're mostly water, and that creates like a calming effect that does something with your brain waves and just levels them out, that allows thoughts to come to the surface.
and that's not voodoo. That's science.
That's right.
Exactly.
So you can spend the whole day in the bathtub and tell your wife I'm working.
Yep. I can shrivel up and it'll be fine because I have diamond ideas.
Now, it's interesting. In that video clip, you said that you were the owner, but then you said, and I think the creator.
Yes.
I do think
You seemed unsure.
I'll tell you a funny story, right? So I
Please
used to have
do,
a Facebook.
because we need something funny after this. Go for it.
I used to have a Facebook group. And I
What happened
realised
to it?
I'm not a community person because, frankly, I'm just crap at it. Can I swear on this, by the way? Because I
You
can't
know,
really swear. I don't know.
we try to avoid it.
Okay, fine, cool. So I'll avoid those. So I'm very, very bad at community management because other people are just way better than I am, and I just don't care as much as I probably should, and I'm not as attentive as I should be. So me running Facebook groups is not a good plan, right? But anyway, I had a Facebook group for a while. Hence the reason I found that out. And I had this guy join once, and he joined, and I was like, "Yeah, he looks interesting enough." He answered the questions. I let him in, and he came into the group, and he started posting this like random stuff, and I'm like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I started looking at his page, and he started DMing me loads of questions, about like different books and different kind of spells and different approaches. And I'm like, what? So I ended up just going on Messenger with the guy, just going back and forth. It turns out he was an actual valid in, I think it was in Haiti. He was an actual voodoo practitioner.
Is that the technical term? Is that what they're called?
I have no idea who he is. He told me what it was. I can't pronounce it.
Like
but-
quiz.
I don't know.
Yeah,
He
like
was
the name
actually
of your town. Like we can't pronounce it.
Ricelip. So
Like
say right.
garage, you can't pronounce it.
Can you say right and can you say slip? Just put them together. Right, slip.
By the way, we just had
Garage.
our first guest let us know that they're watching the show in the shower.
Ooh. There you go. So
Anyway,
actually joined the Operation Voodoo group expecting to share and garner stuff to do with voodoo. And I had to have an uncomfortable conversation with him about the fact that it's not about that. It's about growing businesses, and the fact it's like some unheard of magic, but it's not actually magic. It's just
right?
science.
How
and psychology.
how dare he think a group called Operational Voodoo was about
Yeah.
voodoo?
That's what I thought. And he was like, and he was quite nice about it, but it did take me about half an hour to explain to him that it wasn't about voodoo. And he goes, "What? It's not about voodoo. It's called voodoo." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's not that voodoo." He goes, "Well, what other types of voodoo are there? Is it hoodoo?" And I'm like, "What's the difference between voodoo and hoodoo?" And you can imagine the conversation we had.
It took him a lot longer to explain to you that you had a branding problem. Yeah.
But I thought it was funny. Voodoo and hoodoo are two different things, as I now know.
Gotcha. So what was Operational Voodoo? What was the end goal of that? Whatever it was.
It was just a diluted version of what I do now, which is basically scaling.
Sit in the bathtub.
Well, yeah, sitting in the bathtub, waiting for ideas to enter my brain.
But
It was-
diluted.
It was a diluted version. It was like one part of what I do now. It was like the operational growth part of what I do now. And it never really sat well with me because I'm like, well, that's just one bit. I mean, what about all this other stuff like over there? Docs? Like, what about all that? And people kept on telling like mentors and everything, kept on telling me, no, you don't need to do that. Just focus on this one thing. And I'm like, but that's just like a tiny, tiny little part. I mean, you don't get it.
Is that something that crosses your mind often? Like when you're in the tub?
A tiny, tiny part. Yeah. Not often. I mean, sometimes I'm scared, to be fair. Every now and again, you just sort of look around, you catch something out of the corner of your eye, and you're like, Jesus, where'd that come from? But
So what made you decide to change the name?
I went to a couple of different random iterations because I was starting to ignore people. I actually sacked a couple of tours as well. And then I really just started listening to myself after a few random iterations of different stuff, and then just settled on my current one, which is what I'm doing and pushing forward.
Gotcha. Well, there you go.
There we
Whoa.
go.
What was that?
No.
Daniel, are you
was
playing with
the-
sound effects?
That was the universe telling us that we need to ask another question. So I was interested in knowing you're working from home in the UK, and I was wondering if that's different than here. Like, UK British people tend to be thought of as much more polite and high in etiquette, and we think of tea parties and well dressed women and all that kind of stuff, and or drunken soccer fans, right? It's like goes either way. So it's like when the Zoom economy, is there like different etiquette when you're like on a Zoom call between the UK and the US? Like, are you different? Is there are you more polite in Zoom?
Do you know what?
Are you-
There's a book I can't remember the exact title now, but it is something along the lines of "Don't sell to me and I'm British," and it actually talks about that kind of nuances between the US and UK personality types. And I haven't read the whole thing because, frankly, I got bored halfway through and I kind of just stopped listening to it. But the crux of it is that Americans seem to be quite kind of fluffy. They love like the thrill of the chase. They actually often like being sold to.
Yeah.
And there's all this like rah rah kind of like chest thumping kind of stuff, and high fives in or out of the shower. Who knows? There's all that Americans seem to like, whereas the Brits, we don't like being sold to. We'd rather initiate sales conversations when we want it, not because someone else thinks it's a good idea for us. And I think we can be more kind of, I think we're polite and quiet, and we kind of just tend to ignore pitching and things like that until the point where it annoys us, and we just go savage and just like report and block and ban and just like rage machine at them. Whereas Americans seem to be a bit more fluid. Apparently, that's the general idea.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'll take the answer. So,
Well, I'll tell you what. On that note, why don't we give everyone a short little moment to take a break, compose themselves, rethink their life and their choice to be here with us, and then we'll come right back.
S'more.
What is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. That's an American thing. We don't have it over here.
That was a s'more?
Is it a s'more? It had like crackers.
Yeah. I didn't know they were an American thing.
A Californian friend of my wife's who now lives over here, he had to find them because they don't sell them often over here.
Yeah, it's possibly the most unhealthy thing you could ever put in your mouth. So it must be American.
You can at least show my child.
Your turn.
Come on, it's only limelight, really.
Yeah, we kind of try to steer away from making those decisions of, hey, let's show their kids.
I don't mind it. Go ahead. Who's that?
This is the creepy child that one of our normal viewers apparently has nightmares about and is creeped out by. So,
Do we have normal viewers? I didn't. I wouldn't. Anybody who chooses to spend their time here, let's say, has
Normal.
got a spunk.
frequent viewer.
Frequent viewers. There we go. Frequent
Not
viewers.
normal.
Our viewers have character.
So this is
There's so
one
much
little segment we
explain in this section, I'm sure.
Yes, well, we're not going to lie. We kind of went through your profiles and looked around, and kind of the overall vibe we got was you're kind of boring. So
Yep.
we don't know how this is going to go.
But at least we got that jokes. So
Yeah,
that helps.
yeah. At least you have those. So we're going to bring up a few pictures that just kind of maybe raised a few questions and just kind of give you a
please tell
chance
me
to.
you got the gladiator one. Did you find the gladiator one? Because that's an awesome photo.
The last thing we want to do is bring up somebody just said shout out to the mystery backpack boy. We don't like to bring up things that you're excited about,
Oh,
but we do want to ask about this one.
I was tired.
Okay, that's fair.
That's like the most interesting backstory to this.
You have incredibly rosy cheeks in this picture.
It was because it was about 40 degrees outside. We talk about in centigrade over here, by the way, not in Fahrenheit like you lot do.
No, it's Celsius. Celsius.
Celsius, centigrade, C, whatever. It's the same thing. It's a C, not an F.
So is that considered hot?
Yes, 40 is hot. Yes.
Okay.
It was in Perth, in Western Australia. So it was actually the last family holiday my brother and I went on with my parents because my mum had family out there, and it was a little bit sad because it was pretty much one of the last times she and we were going to get to see these relatives before Mum's aunt passed away, which she did shortly after we came back from that trip. So that was me jet lagged, hot, sweating, and basically very, very tired. And I went to sit down for a minute and just check some messages on my phone. And about 3 hours later, I woke up. So yeah.
All right.
And apparently they have these like black spider things that are like black widows, but not. And I was like, what? So you can't actually see, but my feet were up on a stool as well, because I was like, what are those things? So they were just going to like crawl over and just bite me. And I was like, no, they'll be fine. I'm like, no. So I had my feet up the whole time.
Wait. So I missed it. What's the Australian connection? Is it you or Michelle?
My wife, I hadn't actually met her at this point. I was actually, I don't even know how old I was then. It was way before my wife.
10 or 11, it looks like.
I might have been a teenager. I don't know. I can't remember.
That's your
But no, it's my mum's aunt. She used to live out there.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Cool.
Where was that? I think that was in Winter Wonderland a number of years ago. I think.
What's Winter Wonderland?
Right, okay. How can I explain Winter Wonderland? It's kind of like a pop-up theme park / Christmas market / ice skating rink thing that is in Hyde Park every year over winter. Apart from this year, obviously, because COVID. But every year, Winter Wonderland just pops up. They take over pretty much the entire of one of London's biggest parks, and they just turn it into this like winter-based themed theme park thing. It's ridiculously expensive, loads and loads of rides, and skating and food and beer. But I don't drink the beer because I don't drink it. And yes, we can talk about that if you want to. No, it wasn't from a bad experience. I just don't like it.
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
Yes, the Gladiator.
The Gladiator.
Yes.
And this was on your birthday, correct?
I actually can't remember what date it was.
And you said, and you also said you don't drink,
Yeah.
I don't drink.
but you can't remember when this was.
No.
Fair.
I've slept numerous times since then. I don't remember.
Well, it's the only picture that you brought up is like, I hope you have the Gladiator picture.
Yeah.
I don't remember
It's
what
actually
it's
the only
from.
one I can think of. Actually makes me look manly. I'm not like boring.
Yes. Yes. The definition in those arms of that gladiator is intense.
It is pretty pale, to be fair.
No, there is a tattoo on your left arm. Is
That
that a
marker pen.
marker pen?
My
What
wife
does
actually
it-
drew.
And what does it say?
I can't remember the initials, but it's basically the tattoo of the Roman legion. We Googled it, and
I thought it said
it's
Spartacus.
S something.
Okay, so that is boring. Yeah. Okay.
I thought
No,
interesting.
you look like a gladiator who spent his entire life inside.
I spent my life training in the pits to be the deadly warrior that I am. And I never saw daylight because I always fought in nighttime because it was harder because I was that badass.
Fair enough.
That was in,
One of your worst days.
1873.
that was a castle. I can't remember what it's called. I went there with an ex-girlfriend many, many years ago.
Doesn't look like it
before
ended
my
well.
wife. She wanted to take a photo of me in stocks, which I didn't
Oh.
quite realize was weird at the time. I was like, yeah, sure. And I just kind of went in there, and then she actually kept the photo. So she may have had slightly sadistic tendencies. I don't know. She was Romanian as well, so she had a bit of a fiery temper. She called herself a hot-blooded European.
So Romanians are like fiery people.
Apparently, yes. Or she just was. One of the two. I don't know, but she was fiery. Yes. We argued a few times. I tried to
Great.
avoid
Now
it.
we're insulting different
Yep.
cultures here on the show.
You're fired.
That's in the Louvre in Paris.
Isn't that what you guys call the restroom?
No, the Louvre.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
The Louvre.
Well, it looks like that's what you're doing there. That's
I'm trying to imitate the head.
I can't help.
It's a
Anytime I
problem
see
because
that,
you've
I
got
just
a
hear.
whole
Was it
body.
not at the museum where the dum one gum or gum or whatever?
Dum dum. Hang on, wait, let's just try it. Ready? Dum dum.
So,
Dum
yeah, I
dum.
think you nailed the look. What was the Louvre like? Was that pretty cool?
Do you know what? If I'm entirely honest, I got a little bit bored halfway through it because I'm like, there's another picture. There's another picture. There's another picture. I wonder what's going to happen next. I'm not an artist.
It's kind of
yeah,
like this show.
we saw the
another
Mona
picture.
Lisa. There's loads of people standing around it. I was like, okay, took a photo. I was like, yep, exactly the same as every other picture I've ever seen of her. Cool. It's real life. Actually, no, it's not. It's fake because the real one's tucked away somewhere.
Really?
And then we went and got crepes.
So at least there was a highlight.
Yes, you should probably find the photo of my wife eating the crepe because that's probably one of my favorite photos of her. Yes, you should dig that one out.
Okay.
Because she's like biting this thing. It's about like 3 inches thick. It's ridiculous. There's me with like, kind of quite a small crepe. Thickness is not everything. It's length.
Okay, we're just not going to say anything about that because it just will be flagged. So we'll just continue. to
Yeah,
the next
Facebook's shutting
photo.
enough people down.
You just have to
Let's-
go far away around that one.
Yeah.
You can.
So, what's going on here, and why did you have to hold this rock up?
Because it was falling down and there were a whole bunch of little kind of like penguin things that were swimming around underneath me at the time. And I thought part of wildlife conservation meant that I needed to protect them. And you don't really see many penguins in Barbados. So I thought it was the right thing to do.
So you're basically a hero.
Every day of my life. Yes.
Speaking of heroes,
I saved them as well from a life of just being stuffed over every single day.
It's
That was in Harrods.
where is this?
In Harrods.
Harrods.
So Harrods is a department store in London, which is basically probably one of those expensive places you can buy anything in London. Fun fact, I used to actually do some contracting work for home tech and IT systems, like cinemas, media systems, kind of signal processing, all sorts of like real kind of home automation, digital homes. So I used to do some contracting for companies to do those. And I actually did work in Harrods doing like an overnight install once. And if you've ever worked in a store where before you had to actually go in and build a living room and then kit it out like an actual living room in a shop front, right? Before I could even start that job with the team I had with me, we had to figure out how to accelerate the removal of a yacht from the window. So there was an actual yacht in the shop window, and we had to let down some tires. We had to kind of like push and like jerry rig around a trailer to get the trailer through like round the corner and into the shop, and then slide a yacht over onto the trailer using nothing but just manpower and like rollers. And then drove the yacht out, and the truck just drove off with it. And then I could start my work at like 3 a.m.
And you had to come up with this solution all by yourselves?
There was about like 5 of us that were trying to like figure out how to do this because we had to do all of our work. Like
Did you ever just
amazing.
think to ask the store, hey, how did you get it in there?
Believe it or not, we did. And
Okay.
believe it or not, they didn't know. Because they are literally useless. They were like, hey, yeah, people came in and did it. They got it in there, you can get it out. And I'm like, do you know how? They went, no, have fun.
Why don't you just accelerate the removal of this yacht from the store? Actually, that's a very fun activity. Like that's the kind of
I am
great
a
stuff. It's
problem
like,
solver at heart. That's what I do.
so if you if you go to MIT, if you ever take a tour of the MIT campus, you'll see a car, a real car that's just sitting like up high on some crazy high shelf, like 60 feet high. Oh, sorry, 20 meters high, and it's just like up there on the shelf, and it's like, and it's like, how did they get the car up there? And that's the beauty of it. That's like the students at MIT, they figured out a way, and just for the fun of it, they put it up there, and it was like too complicated to get it down, so it's left there till today as like a monument to the genius of the MIT students, and well, that's what they do when they get drunk, maybe. And yeah, so it's like, you're like MIT material. That's what you are.
Those people can learn a thing or two from my brain. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're lining up, waiting for the opportunity to dig in there.
I'm sure they're really not. I don't
Case in
even
point.
remember that. My children were making face masks, and they got bored with the drawing, so they decided to stick feathers all over it and then put it on my face. Pretty sure what that was. I think. Yes.
That's a fair enough answer. I mean, could have been a business meeting.
I give you the real answer if you really want. For the real answer.
You just got home from work?
No, I just returned from visiting the mothership, and I just hadn't, completely absorbed the new skin. That was why.
Daniel's got something.
I need a snoring sound effect. I need.
I am quite a boring person. This is true. I don't put much on Facebook at all.
Well,
That's
none
okay.
of this came from your Facebook page, from your Facebook profile. So we had to dig a bit to find these stuff.
Yeah, some of these
It's,
came from your wife's.
I wouldn't surprise me at all. She puts more on there than I do. And she keeps on deleting the app.
We noticed that her Facebook life started the day you started dating.
Probably because I think she keeps on deleting the app. Your feed, if you go through her feed, you'll see there's like big 6 month and year long gaps because she just gets fed up with Facebook and people, as she calls it, posting pointless stuff. So she just removes the app from her phone, suspends her account, pauses it, whatever you do these days, and then someone like has a baby or decides to get married or they do some like event or like a hen party or something. She's like, oh God, I've got to get Facebook back on my phone.
A hen party.
Hen party. Yes.
Is that a British thing?
It's what women call here a book club.
Hen parties. Do you have stags over there? Yeah. You
Have
stag
what?
do's?
Stags.
You have a stag do?
Is that a bachelor party?
Oh, right. Okay. You call them bachelor parties. Right. So a bachelor party over here are called stag do's because, we're stags. And a hen party is the equivalent of your bachelorette parties in that case. Because again, you're American and, you have to make things different and difficult, obviously.
Oh, I thought the hen party.
we just use
when
the same
girls
word
get
basically
together
for
and
both.
do pillow fights and stuff,
No.
and then tell us, and then they come home and tell their husbands, we were reading a book and we were discussing it.
I could tell you what I did in my stag do. That's just quite funny.
And this is where we get banned.
If you can remember, yes, please do.
I don't drink. So I remember everything. I'm probably the only person who remembers everything from my stag do.
So we want to know.
Bachelor party. Put it this way, I had to burn a pair of jeans.
And we'll just leave it at that.
So I think Dan has taken the art of awkward pausing that we have worked so hard on this show for
To a new
a
level.
while now, and he's taken it to a new. What was it? Level.
A new level. It's like when it's the British factor. They just
It looks like an airport. I was
Okay.
going somewhere.
I was going to think
I don't drink.
a
I
bus
remember
station
everything.
in the 90s, or maybe a central bus station, maybe a train station.
Possibly.
a ride at Disney World.
No, actually, it's the 2000s, but they haven't changed the tiles since the 90s.
That's basically Heathrow Airport.
Yeah.
Yeah. The decor that old and dated and boring looking has got to be Heathrow.
So you have no idea what this is or who took the picture?
My wife probably took it. I clearly was tired. I was either going somewhere or I was just coming back from somewhere.
Isn't that the same thing?
Well, it depends. Where'd you go home? Where was home to you?
Home.
It
Home
was
is where your
probably-
house is.
If it was with my wife, there would have been Barbados. I'm pretty sure.
Those are extinct here.
What, Barbados?
Barbados.
Yeah, we don't have them anymore.
Okay, good to know. You should probably tell them that. There's like quite a few hundreds of thousands of them living on a nice little island off your coast.
Leo says he thinks that's the old Heathrow T3.
That's Barbados then. Yes.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Gotcha.
So sad
Well-
he knows the decor of Terminal
I,
3.
I know this is going to break a lot of people's hearts, but sadly, that's the last photo we have. So
Oh, go on. Let's show you more.
Oh, you didn't show any of the videos? Oh my gosh.
we've been showing the
Wow.
videos throughout the whole show.
I wanted to show the video of Dan's son with the cast on. That was so awesome.
Was this griming? Yes.
It is a
That
good
one.
video, but I felt awkward not having permission and showing a video of someone's kid in their underwear dancing. Just seemed
Well,
like
no, it's not. It's
you know,
griming.
we
in
our
Barbados,
insurance
yeah.
isn't
I
quite
don't know
at
what
that
he's
level of
saying.
coverage.
Griming. It's grime music. So you're griming.
What?
Again, that must be a phrase you guys use because I have no idea what that means.
I don't think that was a phrase. I don't know what that was.
So grime music is the music that's playing in this video when you eventually play it. And when you dance to grime music, it's called griming.
We have
G-R-I-M.
grinding.
That's a whole different ball game when you're in Barbados. I mean, they basically dry hump each other. It's just like it's almost scandalous. It's like X-rated kind of bit of imagery in every club you go into in St. Lawrence Gap, which is where all their bars are over there. So yeah, when you go into a nightclub, I think pretty much anywhere else in the world it is tame compared to proper dancing when you're in Barbados. 'Cause, yeah,
Well-
it gets dirty.
It's unfortunate we don't have video of you participating in that, but we do have this.
Hello, Dan Holloway here, founder of Operational Voodoo. So what am I going to talk to you about today? Baby poop.
Wow. And now we understand why you changed the name of the company.
I'm sure there was a reason why I started talking about baby poop.
Probably. I didn't watch the whole video. I think it was 40 minutes long. I got what I needed and I got out.
Yeah, I think you sometimes you get a little bit over conceptual, like a bit too conceptual about stuff. This is a prime example of it. Like, like baby, let me explain business to you with this following metaphor. Like, let me think. I know, baby poop.
Yep. You never forget it though, do you? People often don't forget the stories I teach them with.
Did you think of that while you were naked in the shower?
Probably I thought of it whilst having poop like sprayed everywhere by my son. Probably. Because he tends to be a bit of a squirter, bless him, that one.
Oh my gosh. Well, look, this is our last little bit we do here with you, and it's just our little way of saying thanks for putting up with the crazy nonsense. It's your chance to say whatever it is you want to say. We've also got authorityandstatus.com on the screen for you. I believe that's
Joinasa.com is a short version of that.
I think they go to the same place in the long run.
Yeah, but that's got an affiliate link in it, and we don't support that, so we just put the full link.
Oh.
Well, there you go. But that being said, we're going to open up the elevator. That lets you get in. It'll close. You'll hear a ding, and then you've got 60 floors or 60 seconds to share with us whatever it is you want to share. It's your time. So doors will close. You'll hear a ding, and you go.
All right. So I'm going to share with you some dad jokes because that's what I do. Okay. Dad jokes. Here we go. Are we ready? Because my pitch is actually really interesting. If you want to do like business with me, but the dad jokes are better because finally my winter fat has gone. Now I have spring rolls. Why doesn't James Bond fart in bed? Because it would blow his cover.
Oh no.
I would love to get paid to sleep. It would be my dream job. And this is a response.
Yeah.
I hear the testers are quite expensive. I got that one wrong. And if you want to grow your business, then talk to me because that's what I help people do. There you go. Time to spare.
Wow.
Baby.
You know, Daniel and I have talked in times past where we thought maybe the 60 seconds was too long. And I feel like today that's true.
Kind of short version pitch because it means I need to swear and I'm not allowed to. So it's like when I talk to people who I actually know, they say, so like really drill it down. Like, what do you help me to do? And I'm like, I help you to unbeep your business by unbeeping yourself.
Well, there you go.
And the Tesla joke, by the way, was I'm reading it, but I figured out why Teslas are so expensive. It's because they charge a lot.
Wow. Oh no.
This was tamer than I thought it was going to be.
Well, it's because we only had so much
things
to pull
fire.
from. You know, we and it was followed up by dad jokes. It's like, you know, we got to take what we got. You know, we work with what we got. And that being said, though, I other than Phil or Sean, I think you're the only other bald guy we've had.
Am I as shiny though? Is he shiny?
Well, I was going to say, I know you're not in your studio. Before we go to our credits, do you have any like secret tips or hacks on lighting for bald guys who live stream?
Don't do it in your dining room where you have two lights directly above your head, because that's not a good plan. I should pretty maybe put a cap on. Maybe do this. I don't know. Maybe I should have done that.
You got to use some of this stuff. It's it's this powder. Take it and you go. I don't know what it's called. Ask your wife. She'll tell you what it is. She'll say, "Oh yeah, whatever." I don't know what it's called.
Powder.
It's some kind of powder. It's transparent powder. It breaks the light. It breaks the light.
You see,
I think it's called powder.
Lighting is fine.
It's like I have to go powder my nose. That's what it is. It's the same thing you use to powder your nose. So it prevents the powder.
So
whatever.
Is it called? Hang on, just so we got it clear. Is it called powder?
It's a type of powder that you use for powdering your face, and it's
So next time, should I wear a cap?
You put it on.
Or powder.
Do you know what? It's not until probably about the past 5-6 years or so that I've actually started shaving my head, because where this grows, I actually become a monk because it grows at the sides, but not on the top, which is really annoying. So I have to actually shave this at least every 3 days, because by the 4th or 5th day, I literally have this kind of monk thing going on. Also, it's like a halo around my head, like an inverse halo thing. And if I'm standing behind you in a line, and you're kind of standing in the store and you've got the security camera just pointing down towards you, and you see yourself on the little monitor they always have below behind the counter. I'm always the guy that's even though I shaved it, it just picks up the dark bits of my hair, and it looks really, 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 really bad.
Is it because your hair is really dark, or because you're really white?
I think the latter.
But it sounds
Mildly
like
embarrassed.
it sounds like there's a company name in the making here, Monk Business or Monk, something around monks. Could work well, maybe better than voodoo even.
can actually register a domain once. So it's like
Monkey
monk.
business.
Monkey business. There you go. Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, you guys should be in marketing.
I mean, look at this program we put together. This, if that doesn't scream creative marketing genius.
It screams all right.
Okay, let's go to our credits before we lose any more sponsors.
So don't be afraid of it. I do it quite regularly. But I do it leading with empathy first. And I respect and have massive respect for those people who I'm doing it to.
That's what she said.
Oh man. I think
Here we
this
go.
was.
Oh. You know what? I've just shown you before. I've never actually bothered staying for the credits. I've actually missed this bit. I wasn't expecting credits.
Oh yeah,
Team
always.
Trump.
And they're just for you.
Oh,
I only stay here because of Chad.
do you know what a crumpet is, though? Do you know what a crumpet is? Have you ever?
I wouldn't know it if I saw it.
Crumpets. Yeah, crumpets. It's something that it's some kind of breakfast thing that we probably just call muffins, but or hash browns or something. But you
Or a
have to
biscuit or
call it
something? I
something,
don't
and we don't understand what it means.
No, they're not muffins. They're kind of like holy, kind of. They're like muffins, but with lots of holes. It's like if a muffin had a love child with a sponge.
Oh, it's those cute little
basically
spongy breads that you can use. Are they and you could put some hollandaise sauce on it, some smoked salmon, a poached
More like
egg.
jam, cheese, and like jam.
Nah, very
The
continental.
slang
of you.
version of a crumpet, though, is actually an appealing member of the sex of which you find attractive. So that's a tasty bit of crumpet. Is actually slang for like, ooh, they're pretty hot.
Oh,
Well, there you go.
Is that
Yeah.
still in use? It sounds like something that you would have said back in the 60s.
Depends on what part of London you're from. For those parts of London that actually still talk a little bit of London slang or Cockney slang, then they'll still say it.
Yeah.
But then Cockney is a whole different ballgame because you guys don't even
Is it only
understand.
said them with other guys, or would you actually go up to a woman and call her that?
Depends what part of London you're from or how brave you're feeling. I do actually have a friend of mine who did go up to a girl once and say, "Do you know what? You're a tasty bit of crumpet," and she slapped him. So apparently it doesn't work, but it doesn't mean you can't say it.
Gotcha.
Football's
Can
got
you
to
say
say
that?
that you still can't score.
Can you say that in a Cockney accent?
Cockney accent, no, because I'm too posh because I was born in the villages. But I can
Posh.
tell you Cockney slang. Going for a Leo Sayer down Battle Cruiser. I'll tell you that one. So a Leo Sayer is an all-dayer down a Battle Cruiser, boozer. Apples and pears, bears.
I have no idea.
What are you
this-
talking about?
Yeah.
Cockney slang. So in London, Cockney slang, they kind of almost create their own little kind of dialect of random rhyming words that they communicate via. So apples, pears, stairs. Leo Sayer, all dayer. There's loads of different words I can't remember off the top of my head now, but you can actually, if you talk to a cabbie, especially a black cab driver in London, and ask him to speak Cockney, he'll talk Cockney all day long.
Just because you ask him to?
They don't normally do it to foreigners because they're like, they kind of have trouble understanding our accents at the best of times anyway, especially like Cockney accents. But if you ask them to, they will. Yes, and they will just confuse the hell out of you.
Wait, so they can like on demand like turn on the Cockney and just go like,
Oh.
yeah, wait.
Go on, go and do the impression again.
I can't imagine being in a cab in New York and be like, "Hey, would you mind for the entire trip talking with a Southern accent?"
Do you know the person who actually does really, really good accents is Andrew Can from Tube Buddy? If you ever spend some time with him, I had breakfast with him, Rob, and a couple of the other guys from Tube Buddy team. And Andrew Can just started coming out with, I think he pretty much covered at least half of the states over in the US. He did Southern, he did Texan, he did Southern and Texan, like all the other states. Like 50 of them over there. Actually, but he did impressions of pretty much most of them.
Oh my gosh.
very
So
right.
Tim Sohn just commented and reminded me that we're still live. So I guess
Oh
we
my
should
gosh.
actually end the show.
Wait.
That's probably the most interesting part of it, wasn't it? You talking about Snag?
Before this goes anywhere,